Today, we're going to do a relationship revival. And what does that really mean is that we're going to revive ourselves so that we can start to have the relationships that we're looking for. The first chapter of the book is called Choices, and we talk about what it's like to make a choice to have a relationship. Not just to have a relationship, but to have a good relationship, to have a solid relationship, to have a secure relationship, to feel that way in your relationship. It's all about choice. You choose to either be sad or happy, and we've had this conversation before. You are the ultimate person who makes that choice and makes that decision in your life. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is choices, and how making the right choice or making the right choice for you will ultimately give you or set you up so you can have that relationship that we're talking about. One of the first things that I wanted to talk about, and today's topic is called choices, and that's the first topic in the book, is a little place called Mirror Hall. And Mirror Hall, you talk about Mirror Hall. And Mirror Hall, and the reason why I use Mirror Hall, I use it more as a metaphor than anything else. Because sometimes we don't like to look at ourselves as who we are. We would rather avoid what we see in ourselves, and we paint over it. We do a lot of what I call painting over ourselves with either drugs or alcohol or shopping or finding other people's problems and solving them and not really looking at our own selves. So what we're going to do when we get to Mirror Hall is a town in the book, but what it really is that reflection. And so basically what you want to do is just to do a small little body as a representation of yourself. And what we're going to do is we're going to start to look in the mirror at who we are and what we bring into our lives. So what we're going to do is we're just going to talk about our relationships. What are they? Our relationships. If you had to look at your relationship, ask yourself, who am I? A lot of things a question that I like to ask to sort of get the ball rolling, like what's your favorite quote? Or what's your favorite Bible verse?
I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me.
Okay. So when I hear that, I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me, I hear strength. I hear courage. So those are the things that we're going to write inside the body. You're a person of strength, a person of courage. What else would you use to describe who you are? And what's a good way to do now is to really think about those keywords that help to describe you, if you had to describe yourself, and not who you were, a year ago, 2 years ago when I met you, and not who you want to be, but who you are today, right now, at this very moment. Who are you? And those are the things that we want to put inside ourselves, just to identify who we are. We've already started talking about our first topic, which is the first chapter in the book. It talks about Mirror Hall, and Mirror Hall is just a metaphor for the reflection of ourselves. And what we don't like to do sometimes when it comes to identifying problems in our lives is we don't like to look at ourselves and how we contributed to the relationship, how we contributed to the fallout or to the outcome or to the product that we see. We like to blame other people for the mistakes in our lives. And what Mirror Hall does in the book, it tells us to look at ourselves first. Because that's generally the source of the problem, is ourselves. And if we fix ourselves, the rest of the world will follow. That's my philosophy. You don't have to believe it, but I believe that if I'm happy, then when I come into a room, I'm still happy. And happy people will be attracted to me. And therefore, I will have happiness in my life. But if I'm a sad person and I'm always bitter and angry and depressed, I will attract those people in my life. So if you wanted to really know the measure of yourself, take 5 of your closest friends. What is their life like? Are they happy, exciting people, and they go out and they're very energetic? Or are they stay at home and they're just like, woe is me, and life is terrible, kill me now kind of people? That's pretty much going to be a reflection of yourself. And that's what we get in Mirror Hall, because it demands that you be honest with what you say. So we're writing down right now little small things to describe ourselves. Where you are right now, not even who you were 2 weeks ago. Today. Who are you today? And that's what you're gonna put in that box. Even if you have, like today, I had a moment. I had an emotional moment today. So I do have a sense of fear. It's still there, even though I live a fearless life, and I understand that fear is just false evidence appearing real. But I have to be honest. Because I am afraid. I do feel lonely sometimes. I know that when I see it or it comes up or that emotion is there, instead of me ignoring it and saying, oh no, I'm happy-go-lucky, I'm not lonely, I don't need anybody, the truth is that this is real to me. This is a real emotion. So by accepting that that's who I am, I can then change that. If I don't want to be lonely, what steps am I making in my life to change this part of me? So that's why it's important to be completely honest, because if you have something that's in you, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, if you choose to look over it, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, you devalue who you are. And the more you devalue who you are, the less and less person you are. The less of who you truly are, the less authentic you are. And you have to then, if your life is covered up, and you're constantly trying to hide who you are, what ends up happening is you have to then feel, who you are, and then becomes covered up. It becomes murky. And then before you know it, you're living this life and you're like, that's not me. That's not even who I am. And then people around you be like, well, that looks like you to me. That's how you act. That's what you do. That's what you've always done. But you are lying to yourself. So when you lie to yourself, you ultimately lie to the people around you, to the people that you love, to the people that are in relationships with you. They could be married to you for 20 years and never really know the real you, because you've been living this lie, this cover-up. So it's very important that we be honest with who it is that we are, the fears that we have, the insecurities that we have, are sort of a really great picture of who you are and what's going on inside of you. What we want to do is we want to separate those two, because as you can see, there's sort of this duality. There's all our positives that we love about ourselves, but then there are those things that we just don't really like. They're like blemishes or spots, or in some cases cancers, or tumors. And if we don't identify them as being things that we don't want in our lives, they will continue to grow. Okay? So what we're going to do is you're going to take your list that you have inside of you, and you're going to separate them into things that you like about yourself and then the things that you dislike about yourself. Now, remember, you can always add more. And once you see it as two separate entities, you may feel like something that you dislike. It's not really who you are. But again, you want to do everything under the cloud of honesty. And honesty starts within. You can't expect people to be honest with you if you're not honest with yourself.